Hey everyone, I'm going to be doing a book review on The Snowman by Nesbo. It says it's a New York Times bestseller, and it is actually the 7th book in the Harry Hole series. Ignorance on my part for not doing the research extensively before. My apologies for that, for choosing a series book as a book review, but it's a very good book, and I would rate it 3.5 out of 5 stars. If you haven't read the book, this book review contains spoilers, so I suggest you do not watch it if you want to read the book. But if not, if you don't want to read the book and you want to, and you have a thing for spoilers, well, here's your chance. Watch this video. Okay, so Harry Hole is a very stereotypical character with a dark past, with a hot girlfriend, Raquel, and who has a kid, and who's seriously messed up. Of course, he's messed up because that gives the character certain sort of enigma that usually comes with these murder mysteries, and I think it does. So as soon as I started reading the book, I would say when you start reading the book, the first few pages, do not get discouraged. The very stereotypical male writer putting description of women the way we don't want. So I would suggest keep reading, and it does get better. There are a few pages where it's very cringy, but I think overall it's good. The Snowman, the serial killer, is awesome. I mean, I stayed awake until 5 a.m. to finish this book on a Saturday because I did not want to put this book down because it was nerve-wracking, and oh man, it was so hard to just let the suspense brewing. So my first suspects were the Mole Man. The Mole Man, obviously, I mean, he came out of nowhere as soon as this case falls into Harry Hole's lap. Obviously, right? But apparently he's not this serial killer. He's not the Snowman. And second was somehow Catherine, because she doesn't tell anything about her husband. She just says she's married, and then she shows up, and then the case comes over. It's all very strange. And also how she shows up at the concert that Harry and Oleg go to, that was definitely weird too. My third suspect was Idar. I mean, he lives with his mom. That sort of leaves a psychological trail, right? So I definitely thought it was him. But he lives with his mom. He probably has to have permission to go outside or have friends over. I mean, he lives with his mom. His mom doesn't live with him. It's his mom's house. So definitely not Idar because of that. And then Mateus. Where do I start about Mateus? I mean, he's not the first obvious choice. But then you see how Idar describes him, like, oh, he's just the perfect guy, and no one is that perfect. Only if you have something to hide, you portray yourself as this perfect guy who can do nothing wrong. And even when Raquel starts cheating on him, that sort of, I mean, and she herself keeps telling that she doesn't feel right with him. Mateus, somehow something is missing, and Oleg definitely felt something was wrong. I mean, he hangs out with Harry Hole, who has a very dark past and who's messed up, but he doesn't want to hang out with Mateus. So that was definitely another point that put me towards Mateus. I never thought it was the husbands who did it, even if it was Bertie Becker's husband. But, you know, when you sort of look at it, it looks like, yeah, he could have done it, but he couldn't have. So The book is good except for the parts that I mentioned where it's cringy. But other than that, the serial killer level is high. Not as Criminal Minds high, but it's definitely up there. It's not Hannibal Lecter high. He's not that creepy. It's certainly weird how Norwegian women have kids that are not their husbands, which is so weird. I mean, when I was reading the statistics, I almost wanted to Google and see, is this true? I don't want to find out. I mean, it's so weird. And Norway is supposed to be one of the happiest places on earth, right? I might be wrong. But yeah, it's a Norwegian book and some of the translation is off. I'm not sure if it's a book that has been translated or only the ebook that had the problems. Overall, it's a great book. I would definitely recommend you read it. If you have some time, go ahead and read the